Well, hello, and welcome back to my igloo. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's just we can't seem to find the time.
It's nearly February.
Yep, and we haven't done this since before Christmas. Now, I'm just gonna say I am tired, and I don't feel all that great, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do it. Something's happening. Because it's got to get done. We've been trying to do this for weeks now. Everything keeps coming up.
Why don't we talk about February?
No, we're not going to talk about February.
Do you say February or February?
I usually say February.
February.
I'll put the R in there pretty hard.
Yeah.
I'm just, let's get the drinks out of the way.
But you don't spell it February. You spell it February, right?
Spell Wednesday.
Spell Wednesday. Wednesday.
Yeah, you gotta like spell it out or sound it out. Wednesday. Wednesday. So I'm drinking water.
I'm drinking Maker's Mark with some seltzer water. This is that new Waterloo brand of seltzer water, lemon flavor.
Lemon?
Yeah.
How is it?
It's alright.
It's alright.
It's up there with LaCroix.
I heard that it's pronounced Croix.
LaCroix?
Like St. Croix? I don't know if that's true.
I don't know either.
No one says it like that, though. Golly, I'm getting hot. Let me take this off.
Nobody says LaCroix.
The quacks.
LaCroix.
So, I figured this would be a good topic for January. Guess what we're going to talk about? You already know because I briefed you.
You briefed me. We're talking about finances.
We're talking about money, honey. And dumb money things. And this was inspired by beloved DSP. I had watched a video of him talking about money stuff. And we have a list of little things here that, we're no expert. We're not financial experts, right?
Nope.
But I would say we're financially savvy. Competent. Unlike our beloved DSP and many other people.
I'm not really sure where he gets money at all because it doesn't seem like
he gets money from Twitch.
Following.
He gets enough on Twitch.
Are there estimates of what he gets? Does he have a Patreon too, or?
He does, but he doesn't get very much money on the Patreon. But he's established a good little following on Twitch. He's not, rolling in it like some Twitchers, but he makes enough money. But he always complains he doesn't have any money, and that is because he's outrageously in debt and has a ton of bills.
Well, he lives in a fairly high cost of living area outside of Seattle, right?
Yeah, it's like half hour, 40 minutes away. And I think his current place costs something like $250 or something. And this is while owning a condo back in Connecticut.
Yeah, so he's got a standalone house now.
When he bought the condo in Connecticut, I think it was like he either paid like $100K or close to it. Don't quote me. I'm just trying to pull things from the recesses. It's like a townhouse, like the kind of like the row house townhouses.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind.
The one in Connecticut?
No.
The new one.
The new one. The one in Connecticut is like an apartment. It has a balcony. And there was a fire in the building like last year. Sadly, it did not burn down. Poor Phil. No money from that.
Well, he probably wouldn't know how to collect his insurance policy if he has one.
Scoot you a little closer. There you go. There you go. Well, he seems to think he knows a lot about money, but he really doesn't. The first case in point is in this video I was watching of him. I thought about playing the clips and all that, but like I said, I don't feel very well, so we're cutting it way back. I'm just gonna. He pretty much describes his mortgage there for the place in Seattle, Washington suburb, and it's obviously a variable rate mortgage, and I couldn't believe it.
Well, he uses the Fed raising the rates as an excuse for why his finances aren't doing well.
Yep.
So that sort of gives it away as like, okay, why does that impact him unless he's buying a house? It's because he's got a adjustable rate mortgage. So
why don't you briefly tell the people what that is if they do not know?
Well, there's two main types of mortgages. The fixed rate 30 years is the traditional sort of mortgage that most people go with.
Mm-hmm.
First-time home buyers can usually go with like an FHA or something, but FHA, those programs are all fixed rate. Banks have offer these variable rate mortgages to try and entice new buyers because they can usually offer some kind of lower rate for the first couple of years to begin with, and then it may float upwards and start tracking the Fed's rate, or it goes up and down with the Fed's rate.
It's not a very good idea for the average person.
No, it's only a good idea if you know that the current Fed rate is high and it's going to lower. So,
now,
given that the Fed's been zero for a long number of years,
I gotta get Max.
there's no room for it to go any lower. So, I'm not sure what year he bought this house in, but
It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah,
4 or 5, I don't know.
if memory serves, it was probably pretty low rate at the time. So I'm not sure that he would have had any real excuse to try and get a variable rate mortgage.
And I'm sure he did not have a plan to pay off the house in that short amount of time before the rate changes.
No, yeah, that's really like one of the only reasons, and it's pretty risky, is if you know that you're going to move again in a couple years, in which case you probably just shouldn't buy a house at all. You should just rent because there's too much overhead associated with the purchase.
Yeah, so now he has 2 mortgages currently. He can't sell the place in Connecticut because it is worth less than what he owes on it. A pretty sizable amount. Because he had bought this, years and years ago. I don't know the exact year, but
It's kind of hard to believe that it's dropped so much if he's been paying on it.
he says the area is really bad.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
still,
know.
if you've been paying your mortgage for that long, it should.
Well, the scary thing is he just doesn't have the cash to make up the sales costs. Like, it's crazy. This is a person that was leasing a BMW for years and years.
Yeah, it's a matter of priorities, apparently. Well, he was leasing 2 BMWs, wasn't he?
And he was leasing one, and he was returning it, and they roped him into getting to leasing a new one out there in Washington. Like, it was like delivered and everything. It's crazy. Have you said everything you want to say about mortgages? Try to do
Sure.
15-year mortgages, people.
Yeah. No,
Big down payments. Live below your means.
yeah, no, the banks will definitely lend you more than you would be comfortable to pay. So
Several hundred thousand.
you need to
Then
sort
you
of
should be.
work the numbers out yourself with how much you're able to really afford per month, and figure out your mortgage payment from there.
Yeah, you can be like, hey, I think I'm uncomfortable with 300,000. They're like, okay, here's a loan for 600, and it gets a lot of people. It tempts them. And they're like, oh wow.
Yeah, the other thing is down payment. If you're going with an FHA or something, you can buy a house with a low down payment. I think it's like you can go buy with 3% or something, 3.5% maybe, and they slap you with this PMI, which is an extra insurance for the bank that you're not going to default on your mortgage, but it's just some fixed percentage of your mortgage every month that gets added to it. So it's usually a couple $100 extra that you're paying for no benefit every month. It's going out the window.
Yep. All right. Well, the next thing was, this is something a lot of people do, is that he took out a bunch of credit cards, and he probably already had it, more than a few. He was using credit cards to pay his other credit cards. And that is something a lot of people do. Or they'll do that with those payday loan places too. They'll just borrow from several places to pay off, their debt at each place.
Yeah, that's not a winning solution.
I imagine it would be hard to get out of that cycle.
Yeah, because you're sort of floating this debt between people, and I imagine there's some upfront costs associated with taking out the loan, aside from the normal interest. So like you have to pay some kind of loan fee or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying that every time you swap it back and forth. I know with credit cards, there's probably no real cost to doing that, but you still have to. You're kind of tied up. You're tying up your credit.
It's very messy to have a lot of credit cards.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think when you take that money out, it appears on your credit report, and the credit card companies can see that. So I think they can sort of catch when folks are doing that sort of thing. I'm not sure, if they actively try and mitigate that, but obviously if you're bouncing large debt back and forth, you're not in a happy place, and you don't have that. If you actually need that credit for some kind of emergency, you're not going to be able to take it out because you're eating it up with your new blinds that you just bought, or your 70-inch
Yeah, your
TV.
custom blinds that you had installed because you can't work a screwdriver.
Or your home furnishings.
Home furnishings, yes.
Because you had to
Complete
buy a three-piece sectional.
Everything in your house furnished within the first couple months. Instead of, this is kind of unrelated to money stuff, but when you move into a place, when you buy a place, when you rent a place, it doesn't matter. Live in the place a little bit before you completely redo it. Because if you just buy everything and outfit it immediately, you're probably going to regret it, and you're going to go, oh crap, why did I buy this when I would have preferred this? Anyway, that's my little tip. Take your time.
If you've got to use a cardboard box as a coffee table for a while, I don't see a problem. As long as if you need to earn some money to pay for
fun?
Furniture.
Well, yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, a lot of people, they'll feel like, ooh, I need to fill up my new place.
Yeah.
And they'll buy like so much furniture and art, and then they're like living in it a while, and it's like, this doesn't go. It doesn't go.
Well, I think
it doesn't work.
They get sold into like, oh, I'm an adult now. I need to have a fully furnished place,
yeah. And you'll have regret because you'll be like, oh, instead of that side table, I wish I had a bookshelf. What am I going to do? I spent $600 on this table, and if I sell it, I'm going to get like, what, 200 maybe?
Yeah. No, you can get perfectly functional stuff from a thrift store.
That too. Or antiquing.
IKEA or Target. Just buy some stuff. it doesn't. You can get stuff that's temporary.
If you're
until
starting
you're
out, I was
saving up.
saying,
Yeah.
you once you're able, you want to get good quality stuff. I like to go to antique stores and just like visit various antique stores over weeks. Got to get the perfect over weeks, over months, over years. I need the perfect piece, you know?
Do you remember the beginning of the Fight Club? Like
Oh God.
the sort of genesis of Patrick Norton going crazy was.
He was on an airplane.
Well, no.
Oh, before that.
He finally finished like building his
Yes,
an
the
apartment or
IKEA
something,
thing.
but it's like everything from IKEA.
Yep.
So I guess IKEA was fancier back then or something.
I don't know. A lot of people still do IKEA. It's good. It's big. It was big in the beauty community because everyone was getting IKEA vanities.
Yeah.
And all that. Anyway.
Maybe they've gotten more affordable.
I don't know. World Market has gone downhill, if you ask me. I don't even go there anymore. Well, we're getting real off track. Maybe we could talk about decorating your house another time. So let's talk about, this kind of ties into the other thing. DSP, and a lot of people, see, we're referring to DSP, but it's really about a lot of people. DSP always says he was fine with all this debt and all this because he was being able to pay his bills, being able to pay his taxes, and then it's when something happens that his life is completely ruined and he can't make he has no emergency fund, obviously, and he can't make his payments. Everything's ruined. He's in full panic mode. Help me, help me, help me. It's all your fault. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's very much the like, oh, well, I made the minimum payment on all my stuff. I'm not saying he makes the minimum. I don't know what he makes. But a lot of people feel like, oh, I pay my bills. I have no money left over. But that's perfectly fine and great. And I'm adulting and all that. And if you're in a really rough situation, I would say, yes, good for you. You've paid all your bills. But I would say if you're making a good amount of money, but you have so much debt, you shouldn't be very proud that you're just scraping by. That's just like an opinion.
No, you should be planning for the future. You never know when shit's gonna hit the fan. Maybe you're gonna have to be on a job search for a while, or you gotta move suddenly to a different location, take care of family or something.
And you won't be panicking.
You need to have that emergency fund set away because there are rainy days, and you need that. You need to be investing in the future because you're gonna want to be able to retire at some point.
Yeah. Or to launch another business. DSP said before he would love to have a restaurant.
He would love to.
Yeah.
Did he ever try doing a cooking video?
Oh, he is. It's Cooking with the King. It's a whole series.
Oh.
He's quit doing them.
Cooking with the King.
Yeah.
Well, at least his ego never fades.
But yeah, save your money. Don't go to the Rent-A-Center and get a PS4. Which I'm not saying that's what DSP did, but that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah, don't live beyond your means.
I was watching one of these YouTubers I watch because I'm fascinated about how they live their life. They're like, oh, I think we're gonna go to Rent-A-Center and get a 50-inch TV. And I'm just thinking, or no, wait, no, it wasn't a TV this time. They've done this in the past, and you thought they would have learned their lesson when they lost everything. They're gonna rent a couch when they could just save up for a couple months and go to Big Lots and get a cheap ass couch there,
Yeah, just people making poor financial decisions.
Wow, or the thrift store. The thrift store has couches.
Making short-term decisions,
for instant gratification.
Unable to delay gratification.
The marshmallow test. Look that up.
Yeah, Max likes marshmallows.
He hasn't had any in a coon's age. It's not good for you, Max.
Remember the colored marshmallows? Like
the pink and the blue and
the pastel colors.
I think, do they still break those out around Easter?
I don't know. I haven't seen them in a while.
Okay, let's talk about cars. Now, as we mentioned, sorry if you hear Max shifting around. He's an old dog. He's getting comfortable.
He's groaning a lot. Yeah, that's him.
He's groaning. The
Chairs
creaking. Slippers are falling over. So, he is, as we mentioned before, he's leased 2 BMWs in the past, DSP. And he decided to get rid of his BMW because he couldn't afford it. Hallelujah, he's going to get a car within his means, right? He bought a brand new car. Now, it's not a high-end car, but it was a brand new car. And he was talking about how it's a buyer's market for cars. And if you get a brand new car, you get all these deals and perks that you just don't get with a used car.
Sounds like something the salesperson told him.
And this is something a lot of people fall for. They think they have to buy a new car. And you know what, to tell the truth, you're not buying crap. You're pretty much renting it, even if you aren't leasing it, because none of these people pay off their cars. That's an aside. What was I saying?
What kind of car did you buy?
I don't know. He never revealed it, but I think the guess is a Hyundai or something along that line. What? I forget where I was just about to say, but let's talk about cars. A lot of people do this because they'll buy a car, or they feel like they have to buy a brand new car because otherwise, it's not as safe. And it's like, do you understand what a car is?
Well, it just goes back to the earlier point where people like want to outfit their new place with all brand new furniture, get everything in one go, and not have to earn or build up or anything. Just have everything right out the gate. And new cars are very expensive. You're paying a lot for the privilege of being the first person to drive that thing.
Like you can get a super, super duper nice car with low mileage, and if it's just like 3 years old, and 3 years is pretty much nothing on a car's life.
Yeah, it's about half of the price.
Half of the cost of a brand new one. And you know what? It depends where you buy your car from, but you can still get like package perks when it comes to like maintenance and all that. Like say a Cadillac. Cadillac does maintenance on Cadillacs.
Well, a lot of places have some kind of
CarMax
deal.
does maintenance stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not buying one off of like, maybe not Craigslist used cars, but it's like if you go to a reputable used car dealership, you can get a super car. Reputable. Reputable, you're right. I pronounce things funny. It makes me cute.
Cinnamon.
No, it's not. It's cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
No. But what do you have to say about buyer's market for new cars? It's better to get a new car. Oh, we already said some of that. And just the ridiculousness of it. And your advice, maybe.
Buyer's market. Yeah, I don't know. I think any such market for car buying is pretty artificially manufactured by the dealerships.
How about leasing a car? Some people say that's a super idea.
Theoretically, maybe, but in the real world, they when you try and lease a car, it's really from the dealer's perspectives very similar to buying it for the purchase price. Your lease payment is going to be based on the full price of the car. So
And
the
they get to sell it
the
twice.
dealership has to order. Basically, the dealership's going to order a new car from the factory for you when you go and lease it, or they'll already have it there. So it's the same thing as buying it, except you have to turn it in, and you have penalties if you go over a certain mileage and all that. So it's pretty similar deal as buying it brand new. So if you're going to lease a car that is $40,000 brand new, but you wouldn't buy a $40,000 brand new car, you got to think about what you're doing here, and you got extra things to worry about. But if you're in a stable job and their lease payments are at a low rate, and you really like to have get a new car every couple of years, so that you don't have to worry about the maintenance too much on an older car, and maybe that's okay with you. Just watch out for the extras, because the cars that they have available are usually the cars that they ordered, and they're going to try and push you into the cars that they have on stock rather than buying like a bare bones package. They're always going to have cars with one or two extra packages, and that those extra packages are going to be $3,000 or $4,000 each, and that's how they make their profit mostly at the dealerships, is sticking those packages on you. It's like, oh, you need those heated seats and that skylight.
The air conditioned seats though, those felt nice.
That's a new thing.
The last time we're
that's a newer thing from
getting
my
in the
perspective.
car, trying out different
Air-conditioned
cars. Oh my goodness, I liked it. It was tempting.
Well, it's hard to think about it. I mean,
It was summer.
winter out here.
It was summer and I was pregnant, and I'm like, oh, I love it. But
It's nearly February.
yeah. What I was gonna say, you mentioned maintenance, and you know what? People, you might go, oh, I have to pay $1,200 on this thing. If you have your car paid off, you know what? That's still cheaper than always making a car payment. I think, pay off your car and keep your car. That's my advice. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, the
freedom of not having a car payment.
That's the thing with the lease versus a payment. If you save up more, you can pay more than what your payment is and pay it off early, and then you don't have to worry about it. That's less interest that's going out the door. And if you can hold on to that car for a while, you don't have to worry about getting a new one. But if you're on a X number of year lease, then you're kind of forced to make a decision. And when you walk in there, they're gonna high pressure sales to try and get you to sign up for a new lease. And people like DSP don't have much luck with walking out of a dealership with unscathed. Because they make you feel like hey, you can afford it. They have all sorts of psychological attacks on people to try and trick them into affording something that they probably shouldn't or can't.
Yep. I'm just gonna go back to motivational me again. Think about what your car payment is each month, and imagine having that money dropped in your lap each month instead of out of your bank account.
That's a lot of Starbucks.
That's a lot. That's a lot of Starbucks. That's a lot of. That's money that can go in your retirement fund. That's money that can go into paying down other debt.
Think about all the Starbucks you're gonna buy when you're retired.
Like having an extra $200 to go towards your mortgage, say, each month. That would be cool.
Yeah. Or you could buy 2 Frappuccinos every day from age 65 to 95. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of Frappuccinos you have to pay for. So think about how much in Starbucks you're going to have to pay for when you're retired.
Think about seeing a fat person walk out of Starbucks with 2 venti frappuccinos, which I've seen.
It was for a friend, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think that's about it. And it's going to be a little bit of a shorter podcast because, like I said, not feeling the greatest and a little tired. So, do we have any closing remarks? So it doesn't end on frappuccino fat people. Don't be a DSP.
You know, live within your means, save your money.
See, live below your means.
You know,
Even.
yeah, put that money away. Take advantage of, you know, if your employer offers the matching retirement, make sure you're taking advantage of that. Put all your money as much as you can into those incentive programs.
And if you want us to talk more about anything or, to extrapolate, leave a comment.
Pound that like button.
Pound that like button. Share. Put on the bell notification.
Subscribe.
Ring that bell.
Go to the Instagram.
There's no Instagram.
Sign us up on the WhatsApp.
But no, really, if you do the bell, you know I never upload. So you can be surprised every time. Oh my gosh, another video. What? She's still alive? All right, well.
Check us out on Vine.
Oh, God. Vine doesn't even exist anymore. It's all TikTok now.
We've got a MySpace page.
Hit or miss.
Lots of GIFs.
A lot of GIFs.
Got GIFs on our MySpace
Do they
page.
have sound playing, like music playing?
We got the dancing baby from Ally McBeal.
Animated background.
Those
Neon
little-
letters on black.
Those little construction sign things flashing.
The virtual pets. I had a hamster on my MySpace.
Was it brown?
It was like brown and white.
It wasn't Hamtaro?
No, it wasn't. But you could feed it like virtual strawberries and stuff.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for listening. Hopefully I'm going to get these up on Podbean. I wanted to wait until we had 4 episodes. I'll smell y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Stay warm. It's cold.